Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the general awareness and basically what we are doing, we are covering the static economics, right? So far we have discussed the topics like the microeconomics, the macroeconomics, the law of demand, the law of supply, and also what we have discussed the monetary policy, right? And the fiscal policy. Okay, these two policies also we have finished. All right, in the previous lecture we have just finished the fiscal policy, and whatsoever we have discussed their interdependency, their parent organizations, what are their impacts, what are the tools and techniques used in them, all of these things. Okay, so what we are going to discuss in this lecture, so basically most of you, if you are from the economics background, or if you have studied economics in your class 10th or 11th, so you, by seeing these particular topics, you can got it idea. All right, so basically when we talk about it, okay, so this is the part of factors of production. All right, so what you are seeing here as a heading of factors of production. Now the question is, what do you mean by this? Like, what do you mean by the production? What are the factors and why we are studying it? All right, so basically because we are covering the economics, okay, we are covering the economics, okay. So in economics, the general observation and phenomena is that, which we generally discuss, is that there are two groups of people: producer, all right, second one is the consumer, right? However, we also include the distributor, okay. But if we talk about the main one, then the main one are the producers and the consumers, okay. But I'm not saying the distributors are not up to that statement or up to that importance, but what I'm saying that the main ones are the producers and the consumers. Got it? So now the question is basically what we are trying to understand it here. All right, so suppose there are two types of people. All right, this person having his own needs. He want to buy a house, he want to grow himself, he want to give a good lifestyle to his family and himself. All right, similar kind of needs will be with that person, okay. Like he needs a comfort, he needs a TV to watch, he needs a mobile to call and playing games and whatsoever. All right, so now what we have seen, there are two types of people, one people and the second people, both having the different type of needs, okay. And no one in this world, please mark my words, no one in this world is able to fulfill his own needs by himself. All right, even if you talk about the ascetic people, okay, or you talk about the ascetic people, or let's call them as a sadhu mahatma. All right, even if you talk about these kind of people, even they are not eligible to fulfill their own needs. Why? Because they do meditation and all to pray to the god, so that the god could give him the satisfaction, so that they could fulfill their needs. All right, so everyone is dependent upon each other, even the god is dependent upon us for the devotion part, okay. I'm not going to tell you about this because it's some kind of spiritual or controversial, you can say. All right, so now get back to the topic. Two people we have, one person having other needs, second person having other need. All right, so this person is basically required money. Okay. This person is required materials. All right. Because as we have discussed, this person wants to buy house, lifestyle and all. This person wants comfort, TV to watch, mobile to call, and playing games, whatsoever. All right. So now what we are assuming that this particular person is providing the materials to him. Okay. So that this person is providing the money to him. Got it? So now you can see that there is a cycle. Give one hand, take another hand. Okay. You have also played this game. Suppose I want this pen, you want this pen, I want 10 rupees. I said I have a pen, you said you have a 10 rupees. Okay, I will give you the pen, give me the money. Okay, that's the area. So similar thing is applicable in that particular area also. All right, like that person having a different kind of need, that person having a different kind of need. This person required the material to satisfy his need. This person supplies the money to satisfy his need. Okay, so in such a scenario, the person who produce the material is basically the producer. Okay. The person who provides the money or consume the matter or material is a consumer. All right. This is the basic concept of the producer and the consumer. All right. And now you can see that there is a flow of goods and services and the money, and that's why it's the economic flow. Okay. So the basic activity of the economics is producing and consuming. Okay. It is the basic part, producing and the consuming. All right. So here we also we deploy the distributor. Okay. Who is a distributor? That distributor is a person who takes the good from him and supply to him. All right. Distributor is also important because without distributing the items to the right place, you won't get the right money. All right. So this is the area which I was trying to telling you, that now what you have seen that there is a, you can say, particular producing and consuming activity. All right. And what we have concluded from it, that the basic economic sphere comprises two types of activities, producing and the consuming. All right. So now the question is, consuming, you can say, okay, I have used the area, so this is the consuming. Now the question is, what is the producing? What is the producing part? Now this should be our main question. What is the producing part? All right. So if I generally ask you that what do you mean by the producing, so what you will say? Simple. I'm just giving you the graph so that, or diagram, so that you could get it from here. Raw material, then processing, then packaging, then distributing, then what? Finished goods. And then what we have? We have the consumer part. All right. So now you can conclude it. Raw material, we have to process it, we have to package it, we have to distribute it, and then we get the finished goods and then the consumer part. All right. This is the particular area. Okay, and this is called the producer chart. Okay, however, here is a one connection required. Okay, so please correct it that the finished goods will be there. All right, and this will be a distribution part. Okay, so that's how the things are being produced. Producer gathers the raw material. Suppose you are going for the mobile phone. All right, so raw material of mobile phone is the semiconductor, is the chipsets, okay, is the plastic body, okay, it's like camera, it's like screen and whatsoever. Then the raw material will be processed together. It means all the equipments will be equipped well. Then the packaging part, the phone will be packaged in a proper way. Then it will be a finished goods and then it will be distributed to the market and eventually leads to the consumer. Okay, so this is the producer chart. All right, now you have got the idea of the production, but the question is, from being started as a raw material, okay, and then converted into the finished goods. There are various factors which are being used in that particular process. All right, it is not like you have taken the raw material and you have just do abracadabra and all the things will be equipped. All right, nothing will be like that happen. You have to manage the things by your own. All right, and you have to utilize several factors in order to convert the raw material into the finished goods. All right, so that's why what we have these factors, and what do we call them? We call them as the factor of production. Okay, so now let's talk about what we are trying to say. We will cover the overview part. Then what we will see the land, we will see the labor, we will see the capital, we will see the entrepreneurship, we will see the machines, and we will see the summary part. Okay, so these are the parts we are going to cover. All right, so let's begin with the factors of production overview. All right, factors of production refers to the resources and inputs used in the production of goods and services in economy. All right, like I have told you, the process of raw material to finished goods is a complicated and long process. The factors are typically classified into the four categories: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Okay, now you will ask me, okay, land is here, labor is here, capital is here, entrepreneurship is here. Four we have completed. Then why do we included the fifth one, machines? Why? Okay, let me take you back. Basically, there are two types of approach: traditional approach, and then comes the modern approach. All right, if we go by the traditional approach, in the traditional approach, we have the land, we have the labor, we have the capital, we have the entrepreneurship. Okay, this is the traditional approach. But right now we know that we are living in a in the modern world. Basically, here we are seeing the technical advancement. Okay, nowadays, like the AI technology, it is the latest invention, like the automotive robots and all of these kind of things. All right. So right now, when we talk about this, so we are not only limited with the land, we're not only limited with the labor, we're not only limited with the capital, we're not only limited with the entrepreneurship, but we are also stand somewhere at the machines part. Because right now, the machines are being used on a significant rate during the production area. All right. So machine is also a important factor of production, and we could also, you can say, related from our two significant schemes. We call them as a LIT and the CIT. Okay, LIT and the CIT. The LIT, we called it as a labor intensive technique. All right. And the CIT, what do we call it? We called it as a capital intensive technique. Okay. So basically, what is the labor intensive technology? Labor intensive technology is basically done for the MSME sector, micro scale and the medium enterprises. And CIT is basically for the you can say large industries. Okay. What do you mean by this? Let's understand. Basically, when we talk about the labor intensive technology, so basically in this area, we basically you can say employ more and more labor into the production. All right. But when we talk about the capital intensive technology, then basically what we are doing, we are making our dependency on the machines, okay, on the computer, all right, and the latest technologies. All right. So these are the labor intensive technique and the capital intensive technique. All right. So the question is, okay, let me write down the full form also here so that you can connect it later. It stands for the micro scale, medium enterprises. All right. So basically, now the prime question is that why the MSME is focused on the LIT and why the large industry is focused on the CIT. Then only you will be able to grasp the facts properly. Okay. So if we starting going by them, all right. So basically, what's happened that, or the first thing you can say that the why the large industries are avoiding employing the humans, they are depending on the machines, computer, and the latest technology. Okay. Now here are two areas. First one, labor intensive technique. Okay. Second one is a capital intensive technique. Okay. Suppose you're having the department of, you can say, assembling screws in body parts. For example, here's a department of this assembling screws in body parts. Similar department was there. Assembling screws in body part. Okay. Or body parts. You having both the same departments. Okay. When we go by the labor intensive technology technique, suppose you have the 10 people or 10 men here for doing this work. Okay. So if you are employing the 10 people, it means that you have to pay these people through the wages or the salaries. All right. Suppose you are getting total cost of rupees, if you are even paying the rupees 10,000 to them, 1 lakh. Okay. So this is the expenditure you are bearing off to paying the salary. All right. But when we go back or we come to the capital intensive technology, where we are focusing on which parts? We are focusing on the machines. We are focusing on the computer. We are focusing on the latest technology like the automotive robots, the incline robots, and you can say the SNLVTS. Okay. So basically, when we go these technologies, what we are seeing here, that basically we have employed the automatic robots. All right. Instead of employing 10 people, you have just employed the automatic robot so that all the process of assembling screws in body part could be carried on. All right. And you can say that when we talk about the humans, actually humans having a tendency of losing energy. All right. It is called the marginal law of productivity. All right. The human will do the work on the greater phase, then reduce, and then reduce. Okay. So this is the cycle like this. All right. But when we talk about the automatic machines or the machines generally do not having any tendency to losing the capacity or the potential to work. All right. They can do the work on the continuous basis until or unless they are maintained enough well. All right. So the same thing happens here. Right now, maybe the 10 people will do a great work in the early hours, in the medium hours, in the later hours. But the automatic robots will do the equal work all the hours. So most of you will say, all right, so it's better to employ the automatic robots. We do not have to pay the rupees 1 lakh. To 10 people, we could only employ the automatic robots. Even the efficiency will be higher than the previous one. But the main issue is there that if you go by the name capital, it means that it is an asset formation and it requires a huge money. So you can say that basically the huge installation cost and sometimes maintenance cost is there. All right. That's why the MSMEs which having the low revenue in comparison with the large industrial giants, they cannot afford the heavy installation and the maintenance costs of the CIT. All right. So that's why they dependent on the LIT, whereas they depended on the CIT. All right. Because they want to reduce their salary cost. Got it? So now I hope that you have got the idea of traditional approach and the modern approach. Okay. So now come to the topic. So I hope that now you have got the understanding of this as well. These factors typically classified into the 4 categories, mainly as I have told you, some places you will get the 4 categories, some places you will get the 5 categories. You do not get confused. Why? Because as I have told you, the traditional approach, when we're talking about the traditional approach, so basically we only include the 4 factors like the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. But as I've told you, we are in the modern phase. We could not dependent on the previous parts because we are facing the technological advancement on the regular basis, right? So we have to keep ourselves updated because this is a highly competitive market. Okay. If you are not following the dynamism, you will be kicked out from the market immediately. All right. Thereafter, the third point in the overview section is that they are essential elements in the production process and contribute to the creation of the economic output. Why? I have told you that the economy basically having the two prime activities, producing part, someone is producing, okay, and the consuming part, someone is consuming. All right. Producing part, the producer having the different needs to be satisfied. Consumer part, because the consumer having different needs to be satisfied. All right. The producer provides the materialistic things. All right. And the consumer provides the monetary things to the producer. Okay. So students, here we have finished the overview part. Okay. I hope that so far the concept has been crystal clear to you. All right. Now come to the first factor of production, which we called as the land. Okay. So what comes in your mind when I call you land? Generally, we assume as a plain field. Okay. Some of us may assume as a mountainous field. Okay. Some of may assume as a plateau. So many things could come in our mind when we talk about the land. All right. But here we are not talking about the land from the geographic point of view. Okay. So that you should, you can say, launch your mind in that areas like the plain, like the mountains, like the plateaus. We are talking about the economics part. So basically, when we talk about the land, then basically we are talking about the piece of earth as flat base. Okay. This is what comes in our mind. Now you can see a clear field in front of you. All right. Or you can assume it as a land. Now the question is, why the land matters in the factor of production. Okay, most of you will consider that the land is used for the agriculture. Okay, you are right, it's a production. Most of you will be in favor that we could purchase the land right now and we could sell it later, because it is a you can say real estate or property dealing business. But in such a scenario, the land is not producing anything. All right, so as far as we are producing something from the land, then we could include the land is a factor of production. All right. Now, I hope that I have built enough build up for you so that you could make up your mind for this particular topic. Now, what we have the definition. So far, what I'm trying to say, or what I have been trying, I'm just giving you the overview. Right now, what I'm giving you is a definition. Land refers to all the natural resources and the physical elements of the earth that are used in the production process. This includes not only the actual land itself, but also everything that is derived from or found on it, such as mineral, water bodies, forest, and agricultural land. All right. So, why I have told you, if we talk about the real estate. Okay, why I'm saying this? Because most of the time, this tricky question confuses the people. All right, like you have purchased a land. For example, you have purchased it for rupees 10 lakhs. All right, in the year 2011. Okay, thereafter comes the year 2012. Sorry, you have sell out the land. Total cost right now is rupees 20 lakhs. Okay, have you produced anything? No. You have just used the land and its valuation to increase your money, but you haven't produced anything. So when this kind of scenario happens, it is the non-production factor, because it has not produced anything. Okay, but if you have purchased the land, okay, if you have purchased the land and you have built the apartments on it, okay, and then you sell out these apartments, then it is the production. Why? Because you have produced the residentials, you have fulfilled the need of the consumers to reside in a well protected area, right? So this is the thing which I was trying to telling you in the real estate market. All right, thereafter, not only we conclude the land as a resource, but also we conclude the areas which found on this, like the minerals, like the water bodies, like the forest and the agricultural land. Okay. Now, what is the role of the land in the production function? Land provides the raw materials and space necessary for various economic activities. It serves as a foundation for agriculture, construction, mining, and other resources-based industries. Like if you want to produce something, you require a plant machinery. Okay. And when you require the plant and machinery, you require a proper place to deploy these equipments. All right. You could not deploy them in the air. You required a physical space to be deployed them. Right. So that's why the land having the important role. Okay. So dear students, in this lecture, basically we have done with the overview and the land part. In the next lecture, we will continue with all these remaining topics. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.